Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? It's your boy DC, and this is Out of the Fog, a Local Matters Bop, 20 years strong. And we bring all the good time people coming through, talking about the great things that they're doing to make our province a more rewarding and exciting place to be. Tonight, we have Elling Lien. He is the man from Unpossible. He brings that creative courage, and he's talking all about the RPM Challenge and what that means to you. And then we have Virginia Fudge. She is an incredible songwriter, singer, tour de force who just won Electronic Artist of the Year at Music NL's recent awards gala. We're going to be hanging out, listening to some of her music. We can't wait. This is Out of the Fog, and we'll be right back.
You're watching Rogers TV St. John's.
You know the feeling you get when you find your soulmate.
Soulmates are hard to miss.
February is Loveuary on W Network with all new movies inspired by love. Every Saturday night in Loveuary, including the continuation of the Wedding Veil trilogy that will sweep you off your feet.
More Italian.
Hallmark Channel's Loveuary. Back-to-back movies every weekend, only on W.
You're watching Rogers TV St. John's.
Welcome back, everybody. Without further ado, we want to jump right into the music. This is Virginia Fudge with a song that's enjoyed quite a lot of national airplay. This is Dragonfly.
I may never get to love you again. It all started when I racked up some serious debt. Interest payments were going up, creditors were calling. Janes and Noseworthy came up with a plan. Knowing that the phone was going to stop ringing and that I was not in this alone was a huge relief. Bankruptcy or a consumer proposal or whatever help you get is not the end. It's just the beginning. A chance to start again with knowledge and support and people in your corner. Are you ready? Get out of debt. It's okay.
Learn more about Leah's story at janesnoseworthy.ca.
Nicole Martin, the proud ambassador for the Comfort Bear program. Comfort Bears provide these cuddly bears to local children who are terminally ill, facing trauma, or battling a serious illness. Every $20 donation will place a Comfort Bear into the loving arms of a child involved in our program. It is our hope to distribute 1,000 bears in 2022. Please join us and provide comfort to kids in their time of need.
Welcome back, everybody. It is Out of the Fog, and like I done told you before the break, it's all about creative courage, and we're going to be talking to the man who inspired the movement. No pressure. Elling, what are you at?
How are you?
How are you?
I'm good.
I could list accolades all day. An artist, a designer, a media maker, owner of one of our past local almanacs for what's cool and hip in our fair city of legends. And then on he goes into the RPM. Tell us what that is.
The RPM Challenge is a creative challenge to anybody on the planet to record music in the month of February. And it's free. It's open to everybody, all levels of experience, any genre. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And yeah, lots of people do it. So why don't you do it?
Why don't you do it? Just do it. Is it done yet? Get at it.
Yeah, get at it.
I'm going to ask you, this year alone, because we're a few days in, how many people have signed up? 50, 80, 100?
This year,
you're like, oh, Don-E, you fool.
Last I checked, it was hovering around 1,200. So 1,200 some.
That's amazing. And we're from, like, around the bay, like downtown. Like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, no, Newfoundland is actually really overrepresented.
Is that right?
Yeah, Newfoundland it's very popular. Of all the cities in the world, like if you break it down by city,
right,
St. John's is actually the #1 out of all the cities in participation.
Cool.
Yeah.
Considering that this whole phenomenon started not here, that speaks to what?
I'm not gonna fluff myself up here, but no, RPM. So it's international, and there are lots of people. I mean, every single continent is represented except for Antarctica at this point. We're
what's wrong with them?
Working on trying to reach someone on a base somewhere.
Seriously, we need to get there.
Yeah,
plant our flag.
Yeah. I know there's a YouTuber, I think, that I could probably reach
There'd be some
out to.
Interesting music to come out of there if they only knew that they could do this thing.
Exactly.
We'll figure that out after this hang today. We're going to get on Antarctica. That's what we're going to do.
Penguin sounds.
I know. Wow. I know. What a concept, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when it comes to the RPM, you authentically lived it, and you have done a couple yourself. Am I right?
That's true. Yeah. Yeah.
And they're diverse, the ways that you do it and the sounds that you bring.
That's one way to put it. Yeah, for sure. Ranging in quality, levels of quality.
Of course. Yeah.
And that's actually like one of the things that I've learned from doing it over the years is that like if you set out too high, sometimes you're not going to meet your expectations, and it's going to be too hard and not fun. But if you set very low, set it super low, just say, I'm going to make a bad record, or I'm going to make a bad track or something. It's actually really liberating.
Well, there's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
And that sounds amazing.
Well, I mean, you'll have so much fun. Yeah, people do this. There's a band called This Is Terrible from Newfoundland.
Stop this.
And they do it every year. And
This Is Terrible is their name?
Yeah.
I love that.
And they inevitably have so much fun making it that it translates into the music, and it actually is enjoyable to listen to.
That's awesome.
So they fail every year.
Well, they say fail fast.
Yeah.
So they're hitting that over the head, because 28 days is like that.
That's it.
It's a blink. I can tell you, you know, I'm not just being like, oh, that seems like a fun thing. I mean, I've done 3. Different people every time. My good friend Steve Penny, one year, our project was Mount Scio. We recorded it in the studio up in the mountains of Mount Scio, right up in the woods. And then another year, did it again with Kellyanne Evans, Octo Thread, and Justin Murdzoy. And then I've done it with my buddy Rich under the name Eras, and we started our first one in 2013. We recorded that one in 28 days, literally, as you say, as you wish. And then we started another album that we took 4 years to do, and now we just signed up to do the 3rd. And so I can only say thank you, because life without music, because we're all busy, and whether you have musical talent or you've been involved in it or been away from it or what have you, life flies. And sometimes you forget that something that brings you such happiness is missing until you, as you have coined, take the creative courage to put yourself back in that hot seat, and man, does it ever bring you back to life. Like, I'm having the best couple of days I've had in months because I'm making music, and there's no goal, there's no, like, you know, unrealistic, as you say, but like, man, does it ever bring you such happiness. You must have heard so many things from so many people about the impact that making an album has had on them. Am I right?
Oh man, yeah, so many times. But I got to say, all of your music is like so great. I love.
Oh my God, thanks so
it.
much, and likewise to
Like,
you, because it's also different and interesting. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, your spirit translates into it, and it's really awesome.
Well, I love to hear it.
hearing
Thank you so much. Yeah, and Rich is the most amazing person to make music with. We're very different. We're like the yin and yang.
Yeah.
Very different types of people, but we come together to make that album.
Yeah.
And make music, and it just works. And let's not forget the number of people who have started with an RPM album that have gone on to legitimize their careers as musicians and win awards and travel the world. And if asked, so many of them say the RPM Challenge gave them their start. How does that make you feel?
It's, well, yeah, a lot of people, it's their first kind of step into recording their own music. A lot of people make music or like practice their instruments or like write songs or stuff, but then they don't actually like go to the lengths to the, you know, put in the work and time that it requires to do the recordings. And once they have that, though, then it's like, wow, they can show it to people, and people can start hearing about it and like realizing how special they are, and you know how what their music is like. Yeah, some acts. Gosh, there's so many. Steve Maloney.
Yes, exactly. Steve Maloney, the voice of an angel. Just because he put his hand to an RPM challenge and unlocked all this amazingness. Like, I love it.
The Swinging Bells, they weren't an RPM project, but the folks, many of the folks involved they started as a group called the Dilettantes.
I know all about the Dilettantes, which is the opposite of a debutante. Right? Yeah, a dilettante is someone who's from meager means, and a debutante is someone who's from like high society.
There they are.
And now the Swinging Bells. I know. Look at them. With, like, it's incredible.
Winning Junos and stuff.
I know. No big deal.
But that's not the point, right? Like it's about reconnecting with that joy of making music, and that's, I think, why Newfoundland really responds well to it, because you know, we love just making music. We just love having fun, and we love making music.
It's true.
And it's just for a laugh, but whatever.
I know exactly what odds about it.
What
Get into it,
odds?
but now listen. You know, has the RPM, in terms of the number of albums that get made, is it all up on the website? Like, how does this work? How can we access all of the music that's been made over the years by all these people?
Well, I mean, that's quite an undertaking. I think it translates. I think we had an archive that ended up being about 500 gigabytes, or about close to close to half a terabyte, if I'm doing that correctly. Anyway,
a gazillabyte, I think. That's the technical term. Yeah.
Really big. Yeah, no, there's so much out there. But we don't own it, you know, like, and we don't want to pretend that we own it.
Right.
It belongs to the people, and they put it on, you know, often put it on Bandcamp or SoundCloud, whatever.
Right.
But the music that we're collecting this year, we encourage people to do that, and we end up at the end of the year with a huge list that you can sift through and jump to their pages. And we have a listening party at the end too, like on March 5th. It'll be online this year,
Sure.
of course, but we'll have like multiple listening streams. I mean, hopefully last year we got 700 submissions.
Oh, wow.
From around the world, and
this year?
115 from Newfoundland.
Right? No big deal. Just making that music happen. Listen, we're in our final moment.
Yeah.
It's crazy how time flies, but I want you to let everybody know out there how they can get involved, listen, or upload, or be a part of, if not this year, next year. Tell us.
Well, they can go to rpmchallenge.com, and that'll put them on that train. That's all they need to go to.
I want to thank you so much in a million ways, and you always roll your eyes at me, but like creative courage has changed my life as a reference term. I bring it up at least once a day, literally, if not many more times.
Wow.
And I think it's such an important idea for all of us to wrap our heads and our hearts around, because you can create and you can do whatever you dare greatly to do. So thank you so much for the RPM and all that Unpossible NL does. Guys, it's Elling Lien, and we want you to make music. Hit up the RPM. This is Out of the Fog, and we'll be right back. Woo, woo. Do that.
If you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us, or send us your feedback through social media.
Welcome back, everybody. Like I told you, it's Out of the Fog, and I mentioned at the top that we'd be hanging out with a queen, and I don't disappoint, Virginia Fudge. Hello.
Hello.
How are we?
So good.
Yeah, well, you're looking
Better now.
great.
Thank you.
H to T.
Likewise.
Oh, yes. Last time I saw you was a big night.
It certainly was.
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to make your head too big, but
I enjoy it.
okay.
Carry on.
Well,
carry on.
I shall. Knowing you, loving you for, who knows how many years, maybe a couple decades on the go, but who's counting?
Yeah.
And to see you foray into music as you did years ago, and as you know, the album, I Was Obsessed, and then an RPM venture.
Yes.
Right?
The kids album.
With the kids album, exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
On top, what is it? What's
Pigeon
it?
party.
Yeah.
It's a pigeon party. Top of the building, y'all.
Yeah, you're invited. What are we?
How do you know the words to everything?
Because I listened to it 30 times. Anyway. And then another album comes out.
All these little games.
And who won the Electronic Artist of the Year for Music and L? I mean,
That was me.
that would be you.
Yeah.
How
I'm
did
really
that
proud.
feel?
It felt amazing. It felt like it was a really long time and a really short time coming, really. Both, all in one. It was wonderful. I felt like I had, regardless of what I do in future and regardless of how long it took me to put out that second official release, which, I had that under my belt, and now I could go forward and do whatever it was coming down the line.
I agree.
Yeah.
It's all a journey, right?
Yes.
Speaking of which, as a songwriter, how amazing is it to be able to marry your lyrics with electronic, dance energies?
Yeah, it's great. There's a way that you can go real, I would call it deep, or, outside of the box when you go the electronic route. And working with Meg Warren, of course.
The one and only.
And capitalizing on, she had always been one of my my top Newfoundland artists that I love so much. And, she took a foray into production. I was the first project she ever did.
Wow.
And she really, she added so much. And it was, for the first time ever, I could really let go of the ideas that I had for the songs and just let her
help you shape them.
Yeah, well, really, be in the driver's seat sometimes, which is, it was really awesome.
That's an amazing, collaborating and making music, as discussing with Elling there before the drop, it was like, that takes a lot. Creative courage is, as you guys know now, so important to artists and creators of any kind.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Collaboration is tops for me. Even long before I put out a second album, I was writing with whoever I could get my hands on. And, Rachel Cousins put out a song we wrote. Darcy Scott put out a song we wrote. Janet Cull put on a couple of songs on her project.
Oh, I know.
And those things mattered just as much to me as anything else I was doing. And they made me feel like I was still connected, even if it wasn't my voice.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, I love to collaborate.
So y'all listen, Ginny saying "Get at Me," and maybe you as well could
Yeah.
win a Music and L award. You
Oh,
know?
come on. We could try.
What am I going to hear from you tonight on this? What are the songs?
Well, I'm going to do Dragonfly, and I'm going to do Chit Chatter. Dragonfly, you know, had a little success in broader terms, whatever, you know, those terms are.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
You know, how can we access the amazingness that is Virginia Fudge?
Well, if you go to my Instagram, Virginia Fudge Music, you can go to the link tree and get all the things. But I'm on the Apples, the Spotifys, the Amazon, the Deezer, Tidal, if you're really an elevated
You're really
listener.
elevated with that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think that's hilarious. I'll tell you what, we're about to go to the break. We're going to hear more from you after this. Anything to say before we go to the break for all the people who are loving and supporting and have been by your side, helping you grow? What do you got to say?
Gosh, I didn't think I had a team putting out an independent release, but I certainly did. There was an army of people behind me, and so thanks, everybody.
I love it. Virginia Fudge, I love you so much.
Back at ya.
Oh, it's Out of the Fog, guys. We'll be right back after this break. Well, guys, what can I say? Another fantastic show with people I love doing things that we all love and need. To sing us on out, Chit Chatter, Virginia Fudge. This is Out of the Fog, and we'll see you next time.
What could be the matter? Why is there always something to say? For all I'm trying to do, you could let me lead you out of this and far away. 'Cause we were alone for so long, but here is now, and we should belong. To the thin line beside the truth, despite our doubt, despite our youth, to our real apology, despite of you, despite of me.
you have a comment about this program, we'd love to hear it. Email or call us or send us your feedback through